The governor of the island of Sodor deemed it necessary, with large amounts of public support, for a search and rescue center to be constructed to better protect against future accidents and disasters. The new facility, which provides services to the entire island when the need arose, would be located snugly in the protected cove north of Sudbury. And from this location, the center could provide assistance for land or sea-based emergencies. However, the construction of the facility itself took a long time. Thomas was rostered to take trainloads of stone from the quarry on his branch line to the site. Here the stone would be used to make the building strong and sturdy, able to endure bad weather. While the work was important, Thomas was a bit put out by it all. He knew Daisy would be handling the passengers exclusively, leaving Annie and Clara on the sheds alone.
Don't worry, old boy. This is very important, and your branch line will have made it happen.
I guess. But I hope I won't be doing this for too long. You know Daisy's opinion on coaches, and she'll just leave them alone in the shed all day.
Thomas worked hard shunting the trucks of stone whenever they were needed, either to the worksite or in the yard all day. Before long, the sun was starting to set, and work slowed down for the evening. As Thomas coupled up to a train of empties for his return trip, he saw something in the shadows. It appeared to be a tunnel. Only the entrance was boarded up, and a bed of sleepers led to it. No rails and no points were present, though.
That's strange. What's a tunnel doing here? I thought the Fat Controller said this site was new.
He thought about it until he left for home. A couple days passed, and work was passing smoothly. Every day, Thomas would look over at the tunnel and wondered where it had come from. He wanted to know more about it, but the busy site just didn't allow him time to ask. It was evening, and Thomas was working extra hard as his driver promised him an evening passenger run if they finished early. The loads were heavy and the trucks were old. Thomas was red in the face from the strain, and he struggled to shunt the last of the trucks. As he cleared the points, there was a loud whoosh!
Cinders and ashes! What happened?
That was your safety valve. You're not going anywhere now.
Oh, bother! That means I can't do that passenger run. Annie and Clarabelle will be so disappointed.
Thomas's fireman dropped the fire, and the driver tucked him in for the night. They then caught a ride home from the yard manager. Thomas was all alone. The yard was quiet, and from the nearby Sudbury Bay, the waves lapped on the shore relaxed Thomas. He yawned and started to close his eyes. He stared at the mysterious tunnel, which was slowly being swallowed by the light mist that was starting to appear. And soon, Thomas was fast asleep. The feeling of a coupling connecting stirred Thomas from his sleep. It had to be morning now, as he could tell the sun was probably just rising by the feeling of the light shining on his face.
Oh great, you woke him up. Did not. My driver hooked him up gentle-like.
Thomas wondered who these voices belonged to. They didn't sound like anyone he met. He opened his sleepy eyes and blinked widely as a harsh yellow light blinded him. He closed his eyes tightly.
I meant your lamp, moron. Now you've gone and blinded him. Oops, sorry.
Who's there? Who are you?
Oh well, now he's awake. Oh, sorry there, mister. That was my clumsy twin's fault. I'm Bash. Sorry, forgotten I had that on. I'm Dash.
Thomas waited a moment before he opened his eyes again. The bright yellow light was gone, and now he could start to see who these engines were. They were two small engines with wooden cabs and bare frames. Their funnels took the shape of large balloons on top of their smoke boxes, and the lamp which has blinded Thomas out of his sleep was just as massive. Their faces were nearly identical, with freckles and their eyes burned with an impish cheek. It was like looking at another Bill and Ben.
What are you two? I've never seen engines like you before. Are you new?
Oh, we've been here a while. But never mind about us. What are you doing out here?
Thomas shivered. He wasn't sure what to say. These engines, he wasn't sure if they were actually as caring as they sound. The only other tank engine twins he'd met were Bill and Ben, and they were cheeky little engines. He had a feeling these twins might be the same.
Oh, I burst my safety valve working. Are you taking me to the works?
Oh, didn't they say? There's been an accident on the main line. The works is much too busy now. But we've come to help you. We have our own works that can get you fixed in a jiffy.
Dash began to puff backwards. Smoke from his stack whooshed into the night air, a lot of sparks flying up into a metal mesh lid on top of their funnels.
Whoa, you're heavier than you look. I'll help push, Dash. We'll move faster then.
Before Thomas could say anything, Bash blew his whistle and began to head to the back of Thomas. Thomas saw something mounted at the rear of Bash. It was strange looking and had a big spool of cable mounted to it. Thomas had never seen engines that looked like this, with contraptions on their bunkers and a large balloon-shaped funnels. As soon as Bash coupled up, Thomas began to move faster. He moved towards the end of the yard, and the tunnel came into view. Then they turned and headed right for it. Thomas blinked in surprise.
Wait. The tunnel.
Just completed it when we heard you were in trouble. We've been working on it in secret, and you're the first one to go through it. Aren't you lucky?
Thomas could only watch as they entered the tunnel. From the glow of the lights from these two strange twin engines' lamps, he could see the brick of the tunnel end, not far into the tunnel mouth. Beyond it was bare rock and wooden posts propped at odd angles. Some creaked as they passed by, and the dirt and stones constantly rained down on them. Thomas felt very uneasy, as his journey seemed to be going on for longer than he had wished.
How long is this tunnel?
We're halfway now. Nearly home.
Thomas gulped as he anxiously waited to get out of this suffocating space. It was like the walls of the tunnel were getting closer around him, and the chuffing of the twins was becoming deafening. He closed his eyes as he felt the hot soot ash from Dash's funnel hit the tunnel roof and get blown onto his face. He hated this and couldn't wait to get out. Soon he felt a cold breeze blow across his face, and the chuffing of the twins changed. Thomas opened his eyes to see himself surrounded by dark canyon walls that stretched over him and left only a narrow ribbon of the night sky. He felt like he was in a trench, and he wondered what it was. It wasn't long before he saw the canyon walls were actually gigantic trees. At least 100 feet tall with trunks bigger than Gordon's was long. This didn't feel like Sodor anymore.
Where are we?
Our home on Misty Island. We live here.
Thomas was stunned. He was on another island? But how? The tunnel. He'd been under the ocean? But that didn't make sense. Nothing was making sense. Thomas looked around as they traveled, the twins occasionally calling out scenery, such as a massive tunnel created out of a massive log, a sharp bend overlooking a valley that descended downwards into the mist, and a spindly-looking trestle that spanned a deep gorge.
And here is the Shake Bridge! Shake, make me quake!
Thomas gulped as he felt the tracks sway ever so slightly from side to side. He wasn't sure if the bridge was moving, or if the tracks were the problem. This wasn't like the small trestle bridge on the line leading up to the quarry. He was glad when they were finally off it. After a while they came into a big yard. Sitting on a nearby siding was a big tender engine. He was no bigger than Edward, but he was just as strange looking as these twins were. The engine smiled.
Well, howdy there, stranger. Welcome to Misty Island. You're looking a little bit rough. What ails you?
Safety valve. Popped it while working.
Ferdinand then looked at Thomas, his brow furrowing curiously.
Oh, did you? Were you working hard or hardly working?
The two twins giggled loudly at Ferdinand's joke, and Thomas was shocked and offended.
I'll have you know, I was working extremely hard. You don't burst safety valves on a whim, you know.
Easy now, stranger, easy. No hard feelings. A hard-working engine is what we like to hear. We'll get you sorted out and fired up in no time. Bash, shunt our new friend over to the water tower. He's got coal, but gotta make sure he's got plenty of water. Dash, get yourself over to the shed and get one of them spare valves.
Yes, Ferdinand?
He began to pull Thomas back.
Of course, Ferdinand.
Thomas was surprised when he left. He hadn't noticed anyone uncouple Dash. He looked at Ferdinand as he pulled away.
And you?
Ferdinand said nothing as he looked back to Dash until the tank engine rounded the bend.
I'm gonna go make sure the youngster gets the job done. That's right.
As Thomas got a drink from the water tower, he looked around. In the pale moonlight, he saw buildings. They were built out of the logs, but they looked old, abandoned even. One building that might have been a signal box was missing half its roof. Bash slowly chopped up on his side on the other track, grinning his cheeky grin.
So, what do you think of our island?
This place, well, it's a little,
Run down? Yeah, we used to have a lot of work to do, but then it stopped.
But does anyone live here besides your crew?
Oh, lots of people. Don't let the state of the buildings put you off. We just need to cut a few more logs up and they'll be as good as new.
You cut logs? Is that what that machine is on your back?
Bash laughed.
You're funny. You can't cut logs with a winch. Use that for hauling things up to the track, just like how we did back in the States.
That's right.
The strange tender engine chuffed out of the darkness and stopped in front of him, followed by Bash, who joined him on the third track.
We're the logging locos. Don't they have them on your island?
We have a lumber company, but they use tractors.
Now that's just silly. Tractors ain't good on steep hills. They just fall over. Nope. Steam donkeys and engines like us get the job done right.
Thomas blinked. What was a steam donkey? He was about to ask when he suddenly felt boots in his cab move around. Something on the boots was scraping along his cab floor and it felt painful.
Ouch! Hey! What? Ouch!
Looks like someone forgot to take off his climbing cleats.
Ugh, I told him to take them things off.
Thomas couldn't speak. The scraping in his cab was unbearable. He felt his safety valve being taken off by a wrench roughly. Soon it was off and a new one was being put in. It felt cold and unfamiliar.
It should fit. You're bigger than us, so we got you one of Ferdinand's spares. It should work, being you're such a big, strong tank engine.
Despite their kind words, Thomas couldn't help but feel something was off about this. He was being repaired, but it was on a strange island, at night, by three strange-looking engines he had only just met. And they seemed very keen on helping. Almost too keen.
Well, only one way to find out if the repair was successful. Fire 'em up. That's right.
Thomas felt the scraping in his cab moving around and a fire being lit in his firebox. As the warmth spread through his boiler, he felt the pressure rising as it began to make steam. Despite his warmth, he felt a chill in his boiler that refused to leave. The scraping boots soon left his cab, much to Thomas's relief.
How do you feel, friend? Feeling better? Ready to work again?
I think so.
That's perfect.
Perfect? For what?
The three engines said nothing for a moment, as their grins lost all joy and began more devious. Their eyes narrowed. Dread began to well up in Thomas's boiler. The looks they were giving were empty and hungry.
We've been looking for a new boiler for old Wheezy for years. Yours will do nicely, right, Ferdinand?
That's right.
Suddenly, Thomas saw movement by the buildings. From the shadows emerged people. Or Thomas thought they were people. They were inky shapes that looked as if they were part of the darkness itself, with glowing yellow eyes. In their hands they carried axes and massive saws. As he looked, more of these figures began to emerge from behind the trees and bushes as if they were lying in wait. Ferdinand glanced at Bash, and then Dash.
Boys, hold our new friend still. Don't want to risk ruining his boiler when they cut it out.
Yes, Ferdinand.
The twins sang in unison, their eyes never leaving Thomas. They quickly began to approach him. Thomas's fear snapped, and he forced his regulator open. His reverser was already set, so he reversed as fast as he could. He cleared the points just as the two strange tank engines reached where he had been sitting. They crashed into each other but remained on the tracks. Ferdinand's face snapped into one of anger.
You idiots! Get him!
Thomas didn't stop as he raced back into the forest, the shadowy shapes of the humans and engines vanishing behind the trees. As he raced back, he saw the flashing yellow eyes of the more human-like shapes emerging from the darkness by the tracks, saws and axes in hand. The tracks creaked and groaned from under him, threatening to snap at every corner. Each time he felt he'd tip over, but somehow he managed to hold himself onto the rails. Yellow lights flashed through the trees, followed by the dry chuffing of the logging locos chasing him.
You can't run forever. We're gonna get you.
Thomas bit his lip, racing faster, the pale lights of the tank engines flashing between the trees. He swerved around a bend, and the harsh light of their headlights slashing against his blue paint-like claws. Every flash made Thomas gasp as he felt he was being spotted no matter where he went.
Come back, stranger! You'll love it here with us! We only just got acquainted! Don't go running off into the forest all alone now! It's dangerous at night!
Thomas swerved left, then right, and then vanished back into the tunnel, his smoke billowing down around him, creating a wall of haziness. It didn't last long. Soon it began to get lighter, and then the faint chuffing in front of him began to grow louder. The logging locos were now in the tunnel with him.
Now that's not nice. Running away down our tunnel at night. You're going to wreck. That won't be good.
It was the twins. Their voices echoed distantly, but they were steadily getting louder.
Gonna wreck, crash and smash.
Running away from your new friends? Now that ain't right!
Thomas just closed his eyes. He didn't dare open them. His axles ached. His pistons felt like they were ready to burst, but he did not dare slow down. Then, suddenly, he felt a billow of cold air, and the sooty cloud of his own smoke left his face. Opening his eyes, he found himself back on Sodor. The tunnel clouded with smoke, the pale glow coming closer. Before Thomas could think of what to do, he felt his buffers smashed into something. His wheels left the rails. He tipped onto his side, his wheels crunching through the ballast and the remains of the trucks he ran into. A wave of cold clattered onto his roof and boiler, cracking him in the smoke box. Everything went black. The last thing Thomas saw was the emerging of a headlamp from the tunnel. which was filled with hundreds of little yellow lights. Thomas awoke with a startled scream. Instantly he blinked in shock to see the sun shining brightly. Workmen were milling around him, hooking chains to his sides as Rocky, the massive crane, had his boom positioned overhead.
Whoops, sorry. Didn't mean to startle you like that. No worries, I'll have you back on the rails in no time. Looks like you're the first rescue for the rescue centre, and it's not even finished yet. How you managed to get into this mess, I'll never know.
Thomas could hardly answer. He was looking around. Everything looked the same, but the tunnel. Thomas's eyes snapped to where the mysterious tunnel was, but it was behind Rocky and he couldn't see it. But he could still feel those yellow eyes staring at him.
The tunnel! You need to close it!
Tunnel? What tunnel?
Came a well-known voice. It was the Fat Controller. Thomas stammered as he tried to explain.
Sir, the one at the end of the yards. It goes somewhere. Somewhere awful. It needs to be closed.
The Fat Controller stared at the little blue engine.
Thomas, that tunnel goes nowhere. It wasn't even completed.
Thomas blinked.
What do you mean, sir?
That tunnel was meant to connect the rescue centre to the main line, but it collapsed a couple days into its construction. The ground is so unstable it's been deemed too dangerous to complete. Surveyors are looking to build around the coast instead. It's been closed ever since you started bringing your stone trains here.
Thomas looked over as he was lifted back onto the rails by Rocky. Now he could see the tunnel, and it was, as it always been, boarded up with no rails leading to it. And there was no evidence that there had been any rails.
I do wonder what got you into this predicament. Your crew insisted your safety valve was burst.
An inspector was called to investigate the safety valve.
No doubt. This isn't one of ours.
Nope. I highly doubt you'll get your parts from Pennsylvania.
Oh dear. It's happening again.
What's that, sir?
Oh, nothing. If this is all, then I suggest this tank engine receive an appropriate safety valve so he may get back to work, and I must be on my way.
Sir?
I don't know how this accident happened, but I intend to make sure it causes no further confusion or delay.
The Fat Controller then walked off, leaving the little blue tank engine confused. He was certain what he had seen that night had been real, but nothing was adding up. He was glad when he was placed back onto the rails and allowed to return back to his branch line. A couple of months later, the rescue center was completed along with the mainline connections. The tunnel portal was bricked up and turned into a bunker for the emergency generator. However, the investigations into Thomas's accident remained unsolved. Many a railwayman will tell you what they really think happened. However, I don't think we'll ever truly know the truth.
That's right.